We now join Pattie Brassard and Karen Macdonald with a Skype from the United States, and they covered several issues and features which had happened at CERN, and also some current features which were happening at the time. Now, the important thing about the events and the material with Pattie Brassard is the researcher must look at the material on the screen shares that Pattie gives us. Now, Karen is a good friend of the Bases project and has appeared with Pattie Brassard and the Dan McBolan. Now, recent events with Dan McBolan indicate, according to them, that Dan, after a trip to Area 51 and when he had actually returned from contact in the desert, Dan McBolan made a report indicating that contact in the desert was a reptilian feeding frenzy. So it would imply that contact in the desert was essentially being a place to lure ufology-related people to be in a feeding frenzy. Now, Dan McBolan then sort of left the desert area and took a trip to Area 51. And it's at that point that Karen and Pattie Brassard essentially have separated from Dan McBolan because they claim that he's a clone. And they present some of that information. Now, naturally, if you're Dan McBolan, this isn't a really good thing. But if Dan has been replaced, maybe there are certain things we need to pay attention there. So a live Skype after the Max Spears event, and then we'll be following on with the TI event of the evening.
Okay.
Pattie
We're getting
Brassard,
any audio now?
we can hear you.
Oh, good.
You are live.
Okay.
We are in record.
Let's get this.
And I'm going to go on stage and we mix me in.
There we go.
Stand by. I'm going to do a thing called make a personal appearance on camera. We are live and direct with Project Ascension. Incension, Ascension, or is it just Pattie Brassard?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, could somebody mix me in? Oh my God, I mixed it. Welcome to the Bases Project 2016. Latest information from Pattie Brassard and Karen Macdonald, the clan mother, and she will hopefully join us. And Pattie, I'll expect you to bring her in. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Then you have control. Well, it's a very hot day in Pusey. We've had a lot of delays, and finally it's good to have you on screen. Cue Pattie Brassard and Karen. Thank you, and let's rock. The show's yours.
Okay. Let's see, did we get Karen in?
Not yet.
Oh, there she is. Okay, now she's in.
Welcome to Nelson.
You're on the big 32-foot screen.
Wow, how's everyone doing?
Great.
The famous Q552 James Casbolt Nelson.
Before I get into talking about what's on the screen, I want to speak to what Rachel was talking about real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I made this suggestion to the group and whatnot earlier this week. We really need to do something along the lines of a We Are the World sort of thing with celebrities, but, you know, obviously some replacements. You know, replace God with Goddess and, you know, things like that. And we are Gaia's children, you know, because that would get the sleepers talking about things that the folks in control don't want to answer. You know what I'm saying? That would help greatly with the issues that Rachel was talking about. Because they're still hiding too much stuff.
Absolutely.
No. Um. Okay. I'm MicMaq tribe. I'm MicMaq tribe. Former Army. Missile systems, communications, satellite uplinks, that sort of thing. Um, After that, I was into computers, and because I had security clearance, I got hired as an outside contractor at NASA Kennedy Space Center. I built their computer lab. You can't kick me out of anything I built. After that, I went into a lot of the companies that worked the dark projects. You know, Bell, Lockheed Martin, Grumman, whatnot. So yeah, I've been on the inside of a lot, and they didn't know who they had on the inside. So now I have pretty much access to anything they've got, which is why I can give you feeds and stuff like this. Um, this is CG. This is shows a nice big ship incoming, and I think that's tied to whatever they want to do currently. You can see its drive kicking out, and if you look at it from electromagnetic standpoint, this is what it looks like. It's big. That's Venus. This is us. It's heading straight for us. And it's big enough that if it was hollow, Venus or the Earth could go right through the middle of it. The last couple of days, some of the battles upstairs have gotten kind of out of hand. That's all weapons fire. So whatever it is, it's building up to a crescendo in the next few days. There's been a big hullabaloo over this. I can't give you today's. They've already wiped from the 10th through the 12th out entirely. What I can do is give live up to date stuff of what's going on up there now, and it's pretty quiet. I mean, there's some ships there. There's a little bit of fighting going on, but this week has been kind of crazy upstairs. And just before they killed the camera from ISS, I got this. This is what's parked upstairs right now. Yeah, it's some sort of ship. If I zoom in on it, there's a ship here. There's another one down here, and this is some sort of ship. I caught this just before they killed the camera. Did you see up here in the upper left corner? That was the live feed. They killed it. But they do that all the time. And just for people's edification, um, there is no reason for them not to show continuous live feed from the ISS. They claim it's loss of signal. That's garbage, because I have full-time feeds to satellites all the way out beyond Saturn. They have full-time feeds to the rovers on Mars. Losing signal of a satellite that's in orbit around Earth is just ridiculous. Point blank. They don't want you to see what's up there, especially this kind of thing. But I mean, things have gone on too long. As Karen will say, things up north, they're putting broadcasting stations on our tribal lands, and
Yes.
We got to put a stop to this. This is going to get out in the public and get the public riled up. And I think a We Are the World public with celebrities out there putting this question out into the media, they'd have to say something.
The implications that we see, Miles, for stuff like this, as a quantum medical practitioner and former nurse, but also radionics and scale biofeedback and all that sort of thing I've been doing, and energy, is that a lot of this stuff is coming in. We've been having headaches, so anyone will see a lot of changes in the UV or in the gamma, but in their brain waves. So anything to do with the higher chakras or senses, hearing, dental, you're going to see a lot of changes in people feeling like they're stroking, memory loss, hair loss, the alopecia, everything. So I'm really recommending people get alkaline with baking soda. Start using spring water because it's the only thing that will levitate with the Ormus monatomic minerals and hydrate the brain properly. And lots of tree oils. I don't care if you can find oak moss lichen to frankincense to fir to pine. Cedar would be brilliant. Anything like that to start help people getting grounded.
Yeah, the other issue is they're upping the release of radiation from all their sites as well as from all the reactors. They're doing nightly dumps.
Yeah, we got stuff going on.
If we look at the the time ticks, you can see this one, newer ones. Let me go to the up-to-date ones.
And Patty will talk a little bit maybe what's going down also at the South Pole and other things that we have been actively doing, because people are just starting to learn they're going to have to respect clan law. They're going to have to come back to tribal laws, to their original customs, usages, and laws, and very much on the blood type as well, knowing that tribal people are Rh positive. Learning what we can do to enhance that for everyone also, but using Solmap, getting everyone up on that. And if people don't, they could go to Soccer Bit, but Solmap is available for people.
This is another issue before I get into radiation readings.
Yeah.
About radiation. When they give you a half-life, see this first block here? That's the half-life they're giving you. Now, bear in mind, half-lives are only valid in isolation in a lab. That's it. And some of the decay stuff is actually worse than the original element. So there's whole other issues behind, what they talk about radiation release being safe, 100 being safe. No radiation is safe.
Absolutely none. And virtue is happening with these towers and stuff too, is people are being forced into chemo and radiation. If you have those toxins within you and GMOs, you're just getting radiated at phenomenal rates. They're just not going to be able to make it and get through the shift here. And like one of the things too is, even as we're trying to get, tribal things, like today I'm actually back in Nelson for a bit trying to collect my stuff. It's been actually stolen by supposedly the people like Larry Levan and the people assisting us up here. So even trying to collect our equipment and I've got from massage tables up here to actually a colonic machine we're trying to get back to our position. I mean, people have absolutely no respect for what we've been doing. And, Patty will show they're taking things very seriously as they're starting to blow up the South Pole right now, take away toys.
If you look here on the left, you'll see there's control groups around the entire planet that these folks are keeping track of. If you look here, anything less than a 1.00, that letter of DNA has been busted, and the interlink data that's in it is gone. Now, what the data that stores in it is like computer coding.
And these are people. These are people's lab results.
They're tracking this around the globe. They're tracking just how much they can damage the human genome and stop you from reproducing. That's part of Agenda 21 and the new Agenda 2030. This is the links, like coding between your chromosomes. When it finishes running that script, it says go to line such and chromosome such and run that. That's what that data that's going missing. That's what radiation does. And the radiation releases are deliberate.
No, a lot of the stuff seen up here too, I was just going to mention as well, was that there's been an absolute devastation. I came into Nelson here, and all the stuff with findaspring.com. These people have no water again. There's no springs up here. Can you imagine being in the mountains and I have no spring water here? Thank gosh I brought it from north of Saskatoon a couple days ago. So we find some more, but it looks like Ainsworth and the other springs that were being piped to the people are now gone. So I'm going to go see what we got left here the next day too. Maybe by Roseberry, but we'll see.
That picture I was showing you, Miles, that was you said it was from the Midwest of U.S. That's not the picture I was showing you. Was actually of the attack on the South Pole base, Scott base. That's where these and that's still going on. I mean, that place is still on fire, and they keep trying to take it back. That's what the tribal team hit. And if you want to go, you can go look at it and see. This is when Athena came into orbit and did its first strike and blew up the power plant. And there's still battles going on there almost daily. And explosions going on. And pretty much anybody can go look at this.
Patty, can you explain the Go Green, Scorched Earth policy command now in effect for the tribes for what we're doing?
Yeah, at this point, I don't see any point. I mean, we were trying to do what we could to take these people out without collateral damages. And we were basically only acting when they were using tools like this, like the Ring of Midas and whatnot, or the Spear of Destiny, and trying to bring stuff from parallel Earths here that they're not supposed to. But at this point, I want, take out all the dumbs. Yeah, there's innocent people down in there, but those people that are down in there have had their souls raped out of them. So to my mind, it's, let's set them free. This is the Ring of Midas. This is what got us started on the battle down at South Pole. They were trying to use this. These are ancient items that were originally, like the Spear of Destiny and all that were given to the original Templars, who were given tools by elder races to fight the Jinn. Now, these tools have all been perverted, big time. Mm-hmm. And once they got in the hands of the power groups, I caught them using that via satellite. There's the symbol. That's what I caught. What was going on? That's the energy signature of using that thing.
So they're being shut down effectively right now. And one of the things too is that there's zero tolerance for any of this. So if they're not following the international peace treaties,
they're not. It's not even that. They're not following the commands of the council upstairs either.
Exactly. So they're being removed.
And the stuff with what Brookhaven's doing, we got some major changes going on, Mandela-wise. Some really showing out stuff. In other words, New Zealand used to be one single island. Now it's two. I mean, just beyond the day-to-day stuff, like one of the songs, Queen, "We Are the Champions," at the end it you say, of the world is gone, as if it was never there ever. You know, this is something big. This is something you can track. The changes in the globe.
And on an individual basis, I would really encourage people to go to Tribal Laws Meredith Quinn and get caught up with what they need to get caught up with, and also get their mtDNA checks done for what their mitochondrial DNA is and what their mother's lines are, and make sure they know their blood types and stuff. So there's a lot of things coming down the pipes, and to get people as healthy as they can. But the other thing too, we'll be dealing with a lot of different, the Attack-a-Coop Cree nations and stuff as well. Be back
These
there.
releases are deliberate.
Absolutely. As genocide.
Take, for instance, the fire at Whip in Arizona. The reason that had a fire is they said they packed around it on the mainstream media. They said they packed around it with kitty litter. Okay, that's what they claim. They were using magnesium sulfate, which is exothermic when you put it in water. The Whip site has a river running over it and an aquifer under it.
Yeah.
And plutonium's an exothermic compound to begin with.
And this
So
is
tell
the
me they
sodium
didn't start
sulfate.
that.
Yeah, this is the sodium sulfate that I collected up at Attack-a-Coop all north by Big River in Saskatoon that came in from Fort McMurray. This kind of stuff was there for 3 dissolving, slowly getting in, radioactive and neurotoxic. So that's an actual sample of stuff I've collected out there.
Yeah, and just for your information, when I went and looked at those fires on the thermal cameras in orbit, there is no heat signature.
No.
So how can there be a fire with no heat signature unless it's chemical?
And again, we're seeing stuff too, like, in the North Saskatchewan River, everything here slowly being fracked, being stolen. We've got bases, draconian bases that don't even belong up at Cypress or any of our areas, even at Attack-a-Coop and stuff. All these reserves are being surrounded by bases, alien bases, and these people are being nuked and microwaved on a daily basis.
I mean, I've got maps of where the bases are, really detailed in the United States, basically because I'm camped here. But I do have them around the world as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a lot of them, and they need to go, all of them.
Are there any questions from the audience at all? Because I know a lot of people have been following Pattie and my's different teachings or sharings. Are there any questions from the audience? I know I was listening to some stuff on the Goldfish Report yesterday and Captain Max Steel. There's a lot of people coming forward right now, whistleblowing.
That's a map of the deep domes around the planet.
And I'm in that top little square up there at Nelson. Well, I'm outside the square, but
So if you think it's just the United States that's got domes and aliens camped out underneath, that's anything but the truth.
And anyone thinks this Jade Helm that they're safe for Operation Maple Resolve up here? There's 3 FEMA camps sitting just on the outside of the areas there between Medicine Hat to Edmonton.
This is the most recent one in the United States. As you know, the White House, the White Hats in the Pentagon back 2012 blew up Obama's dome. And so that's why the transit tunnel that normally runs up here is now closed. But these dotted lines, these are all the high-speed transit tunnels. And they run all around the globe. Some of them, these on the continent, are built by FEMA. Now, there's older ones under the oceans that have been there like forever.
And so I'm laughing as Patty's showing you basically what's going on in the planet. That's the same thing I do with the biofeedback. We see what your internal ley lines and stuff are doing in meridians.
You can see the transit tunnels under the ocean. or I can. I know they block a lot of this out on Google, but I get direct updates every day from JPL, so I get the real view. We've had folks working on our team, the Lang. You can see one here in a camouflage suit, shows up on digital camera. This group was monitoring what was going on up in Saskatoon for 10 months. They were in this camera, even with functions going on and everything.
Yeah. That's at the University of Saskatchewan in the campus pool we were watching.
The Arden gates are closed and backfilled with sand, so those are shut down. These three. So that's some good news. So now it's more of waking people up and getting them eating safe foods. That's another issue, which I got into, designing whole safe residences and communities and enclaves and stuff, because right now, pretty much anything you grow outside or animals that graze on grain and everything outside, they're taking up radioactive content.
So we're looking at some sort of garden towers or grow towers. I've been experimenting with that all this summer, using spring water off the trough and just seeing what we can do with heirloom seeds and stuff, just going to indoor grow ops with grow lights and stuff too. So there are things that are viable. We're just dealing with some issues and stuff. I know fungus and mold, we're dealing with it in there, but
gotta go like this. Fiber optics grow under, indoors or down in your basement or whatever. Use fiber to get the light in. That's the only safe way to grow food now.
And I'll be dealing with some architects out there just in Saskatoon. I just got introduced to as well. We'll see what we can do to get a viable place for people.
I mean, yeah, even governments are starting to do this now. Chicago's got this in the works. They plan to do an underground city to start growing their own food. They know the people who are waking up, even in state level governments, are waking up to what's going on, and this is what they have in the works for Chicago.
Chicago and Seattle are actually doing. Those are the two most advanced cities that I've seen too, because they're also doing it in the airports. They're actually starting to use any space that they can for growing.
But the whole thing's getting a dome over you for growing stuff, because right now the radioactive content's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, and again, this is not just only bulletproof; it's radiation proof. We would have to look at very specific materials and stuff that are going to have to be brought in from around the planet globally.
There's another issue as well, and this is another one that they're keeping really, really under wraps, and that is the UV issue. We are now getting UVA, UVB, and UVC, which is the stuff that kills you, hitting the surface. That's why if you go out and you look at your plants and all the leaves, like the inner stems of the leaves are still green, but everything's brown and the stuff's dying. It's UVC. That's why they make clear coat wrap now that is capable of generating power that you can put over your glass that picks up these UV rays and puts them to use. It's mandatory. There's a lot of people building these greenhouses out there. They're going to be dead. They're building them. Supposedly greenhouses like normal houses get built, but all they're building is big coffins. In essence. The communities I've designed are more like this. They're partially underground with a glass over dome that collects energy as well as blocking the UV and the radiation. And it gets really involved when you start designing these. The aggregate and the concrete mix There's 5 different types of stones around the planet that have to be what you use for the aggregate because they actively repel radiation. It's not a simple problem. The whole free energy issue and Yiditz's design, I've got that. I'm giving that to everybody, telling them they need to be building these. We need to get off the tit. These will drive generators, pumps, everything else.
This is about being self-empowered and self-sustainable, but also self-governing. And this is what we really need to do, is to look back to be at peace with everyone and everything on this planet. And that's about knowing what your peace covenant/treaties are based on your genetic lines. That's why it's so important to get the DNA and the bloodline straightened out here.
The other issue is stuff like this. When they opened that tunnel, the Goddard Tunnel, incredible. I mean, that was a ritualistic death event they had after that.
Right.
Radiation readings through the roof. That's the back side of the tunnel. The front side of the tunnel had readings over 9 million.
And you got to remember, some of these different species or alien species, the radiation does not affect them like it affects humans here, people. You know, or the Greys and different things like that.
And that death tunnel is not what they're telling you it is either. I've got the actual Goddard design, okay? Oh, I'll get to that again in a minute. This is the Goddard Tunnel.
Yeah.
There's 3 spirals in there: Atlas, Alice, and the CMS. This isn't just a tunnel. This is like a giant CERN interdimensional transport system that they're building. Okay? That's what that tunnel network is about.
Which needs to be shown.
This is from URDEP. Here's one of the radiation readings, Italy. Look at the numbers.
We're talking in the millions here.
In the millions.
Not evacuate a city at 150. We're
This
into
is
the
CPM.
millions.
That's counts per minute. That's what went down right at the conclusion of their opening of that tunnel. I mean, we sent forces down there because we thought a spacecraft crashed, you know? And that wasn't the case.
And a lot of these are being released apparently at night 2 miles.
These were all the hot spots. We thought it was a spacecraft debris, but it wasn't. It was, you know, we haven't ever actually, even the folks upstairs haven't figured out what the hell they did here to have all these hot spots and the rads up that ridiculous amount.
And we can transfer stuff too, even to what's going on to where you are right now. Some of these are in the tens of thousands already, where you're situated even right now. So we need to get these, you know, get inner radiation. We've got to be radiating on from the inside out to be able to handle this stuff right now.
This tunnel is designed just like the maglev tunnels. This is a design for it. It's the same design as going down the center of a CERN. They can pack it with the electromagnetics to run an electromag train and CERN type walls to make this a a gateway where you can have a whole train load of beings coming through. I mean, here's the control panel. I sneaked a peek through the camera inside that tunnel complex. They're all set up for it. Somebody's going to put the brakes on these people. Oops. Everything's all scratchy.
And this is just a semantic point, but when we're talking about getting people together and bringing awareness and stuff too, we've got to get each of us to a co-creative position to do this. I
This
don't
is
use
incoming.
the word S because it means that evil take its course, actually. But
This big ship is incoming, and we don't know who owns it. We don't know whose side they're on. We're about right here. If I go and look at another camera, where's my other?
which is
In the electromagnetic spectrum, you can see that's a ship. We're right here. It's heading right for us.
Which is interesting, according to the crop circles with Red Collie we got coming up for the end of August.
We don't know who's driving this. But that's obviously under drive. So, I mean, here's another way of viewing it from the side on from another satellite. That's us. It's coming straight for us. Hopefully it's on our team. There's a singular lack of information on that.
And I'd like to just, for a few minutes, just address what we can be doing. This is what we're seeing the effects. Remember, everything that's, micro and macro, we're experiencing the actions and the reactions of what's going on there. So people are responding. They can feel things are shifting or changing. They're getting very anxious and very panicky. What I would suggest people actually go get some enemas and colonics because it actually alleviates all the anxiety and stress out of the system. So we'll be able to handle things in.
They're running CERN up off the graph.
And remember, it's not just CERN. It's connected to virtually every city, every light source synchrotron that we have here. They don't usually build one, they build a couple as a backup.
Well, it's a grid all around the whole entire planet. And the main issue is the only machine they've got that actually has the power to do, the time jumps and all of that is Brookhaven.
Okay.
The problem is Brookhaven's so small you can't put anything through it. So that's why all these other cyclotrons are on the network. This is Brookhaven. It's small, but it has all the power capabilities that they're trying to build into the CERN over in France.
And Patty, can you bring up that biohazard tunnel at CERN a little bit for the people?
This is the network. These are the majors. That doesn't include all of them, but that's the majors.
No, we got hundreds.
You wanted me to show what now?
Just the devastation effects of what was going on with the coffins and everything else and the biohazard tunnel, please.
Yeah, they've pretty much hidden all that at this point. Other than on the parking structure, they added all these Quonset hut type things to the roof. And this place is radioactive as all get out. Bunch of FEMA type vehicles when they torched the small CERN, because there's actually two under there. When they burned that, all those FEMA vehicles were out in the middle of the fields and getting dead people and debris out from underground.
And this could happen to a city near you now. I mean, this is what I've been seeing going on near Saskatoon as well, in different areas too. You know, nuclear facilities are Q552 Nelson here. You know, you'd have underground military bases using this as their power source. You just had the Shambhala fallout, which I always figures they're like, you know, over.
People were saying everything's fine. Yeah, they're rebuilding like crazy there. I took this picture because this is in what Google's doing. They're putting fake buildings over this sort of stuff. But fake buildings don't work with satellite.
Yeah, and there's some areas too that when we're looking at north of Saskatoon and Big River and some of those areas like Mount Eagle and stuff, it's actually hazed. You can't see, and it's been Google shot since 1969. So we're having to be on the ground and I also do the ground or the foot, you know, investigation as well when we're out here. So it's interesting, Miles, to hear all the stuff that Max Byers had said and James Casbold about even Q552 and the summit psychology. They're actually still here. I can walk down Baker Street and all these streets. They're still here. It's viable. You can see them.
We get stuff like this. Okay. The which one? Oh.
And there is also a van that Patty's got of a interdimensional that doesn't belong from here too. It's been surveilling out one of our people.
Oh, so, yeah.
Well, maybe they should see the one.
This wasn't built on this timeline. Where is it?
And then we have the down, not down.
Yeah. I'll show this first. They replaced Dan with a clone. Real Dan. That's not real Dan.
Could you describe the background to what that story is, please?
He went down to the ET in the Desert meeting.
Contact in the Desert.
Yeah, Contact in the Desert. Same difference. And they abducted him. They abducted him. As you see here, these are not even the same vehicle. They got pretty close. They gave the clone a vehicle pretty close to Dan's, but it's not. His beard and everything's the wrong color, and it was wrong length on the side, as you can see. Wrong color eyes, wrong hair color, everything. I mean, just everything is wrong with it. Also, if you go in and look at a close-up of his teeth, his jaw doesn't go all the way out to the side. His teeth curve in. So, yeah, that's definitely not Dan. Where's that vehicle? This looks normal, right? Who makes that? Looks like a big club van, right? But if you put it next to another vehicle, it's not. In fact, these tires are only 13-inch. There is no such vehicle made on this planet. Not on this timeline, anyway.
And is with that little guy behind the wheel.
Oh, yeah. I did a close-up. I don't know what that thing is. Where is it?
That's behind the wheel.
This is a right-hand drive, by the way. He's got his hands on the steering wheel. I don't know what this is, or what this blue glow is around the inside of the vehicle that goes around behind his seat.
And all of us have suffered stuff too. Like I know when I woke up about probably 5 weeks ago, Miles, and I had 4 puncture wounds in the ankle, and my biofeedback here is showing up scorpion, but Urutu venom. So I've been in contact too with people like Desiree Dubonnet or Dr. Bill Nelson with the skio. So it's really important if people are having very strange symptoms, you know, they think that might be targeted or my labs, is to find a skio practitioner, indigo or e-doctor, because we can find it, identify some of the biological warfare and neutralize it, 0 point it, get the scalar wave signature and actually pulse it out of your system too.
This is a clone body with an ET rider. And when I did a thing, lightened it up and all that, and looked outside, this is on a military base that doesn't exist on this timeline either. He goofed up so bad on trying to pretend he was Dan that they took him back over to a different timeline to get him to travel home. That's the new site at CERN. It's a gate dial. They've built a building in it. They had some sort of crisis go on over there, and they had to bring the dial up from underground. That doesn't belong in this directory. I'll show you that after. It's now, here it is. The gate is now, this is on the lake, directly off the east side of the airport gate. And these are all rescue vehicles, the lights and everything. They're all underwater doing recovery. So I don't know, they goofed something up there, big time.
And we're just keeping eyes on everything, apparently, like where Queen Elizabeth is being stored at Denver and stuff too, and the scorch marks and stuff that's happened there.
The whole thing that went down, something went down, and they opened the holes up, and Dan witnessed them evacuating one of the bases out here in Phoenix. And this is weird because there's these big letter A's all over the place. Matter of fact, the Queen's residence in England also is using these. So I'm guessing that means Anunnaki. But that's a guess.
Alpha for a chevron? I don't know.
And they're building some really freaky stuff over there out your way too. Like, what is this? There's like some time dials. That one looks like a clock. Another one looks like the fret of a guitar. Where is it?
And so a lot of what I'll be doing too will be on ground, looking for sacred sites and stuff that were original our tribes to start with. The white tribes and stuff too. So we'll be going through all the different areas, looking at all the creation things and talking with some of the different tribal people out here too. What's left in the Sinaiacs here.
See, they're building ET landing sites. And that was near those new palaces that the royal family's building. Emmer Hall and whatnot. And they've been doing it pretty quick.
You're talking Wiltshire.
Yeah.
Hertfordshire.
Yeah, close to you.
They planted all these trees and everything in a star pattern here like this in the last 6 years. I went backdated this site. None of that was there. So, I mean, they're working really, really freaking hard and fast to build this stuff. That's 1999. So, and that's it now. These are the same location. Here's the one I was telling you. It looks like a fret of a guitar, like you could tune frequencies. And I tried to get a look at what these things are, as close as the camera would let me get, and I can't make out what the hell they are either. These are not what they're purported to be, obviously, and they're huge. That's a road, a farming road, so that gives you scale. So I don't know. You folks over there somebody needs to go and take a drive. There's also this over there, and this is in the middle of the woods over there. And there's some sort of frequency coming off this place, which won't even let a digital camera look at it with any degree of resolution.
Can you give those locations, Patty? Because, I'm sure we've got a lot of people over there that would be up for going for a little picnic.
I did an overview where this stuff is going on.
We'll get the locations for people there.
You gotta love the names around this place. Fakenham? Come on.
Well, it's as bad as the Baphomet and all this other stuff when I was looking at
You can see where that airport is. You can see where that airport they built is, that ET airport right there. You can see, that's what I mean, you can see this stuff from pretty far out too. This is that new palace development there. And when I did a zoom in on the palace, some major occult things going on there. Now tell me that doesn't look like the Book of the Dead, the cover of it, with the eye in the middle. So, and they're in a line. What's that overview? 3 in a row. There's one here, there's one out further towards the coast, and here's the new daughter's place right here. This all developed me going there looking via satellite when that something went down at Buckingham Palace. I have to look at when the date on it was. So I went looking around Buckingham too, and there was some weird stuff going on at Windsor and all that noise.
They got a trainer really bad watching.
Okay. This is the Arizona blast I was telling you about. I got via satellite. You can see smoke coming up when we hit Area 24. S4 rather.
That was S4.
That's from satellite. Yeah, you're not going to get any public acknowledgement about anything that went down there. If you go and look at the rads there, they're still through the roof.
And similar stuff was happening like at Fort McMurray and stuff too. So all this stuff we're seeing is not what people think it necessarily is.
This is the gardens. Something was going on here. Again, I couldn't get a clear picture. I couldn't get a clear view of it via satellite. Something was fogging it out. That was the day they evacuated Buckingham Palace. Let me get a date on that. June 2nd. I don't know what was going on there that had me looking around over there. But they evacuated the palace, and everybody went out to these summer homes, is what they're calling these palaces. And as you see, they're using the A symbol all over the place over there. In fact, that whole city or town or whatever you want to call it has got one more road away from having a complete Eye of Horus as seen from orbit. So where is it? I took an overshot of that too. A zoom out. The one road away from completing having a Eye of Horus. No, I got a better one than that. Right smack in the middle of it. Where is it? Good picture.
The other thing we can do is also look at where these are sitting on the ley lines and the grid lines and stuff too as well there.
Yeah, I'd have to bring up Google to do that.
Again, we're seeing
Side by
things
side.
replicated. Yeah, so we're seeing things replicated in every area.
Side by side was in 99, is now. One more road across here, they'll have the Eye of Horus right in the middle of the township. There's the roads listed out. Miles Road, too. Mile Road.
Miles has got a project.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on, you know. And we've actually had, apparently something tried to land here and failed and crashed and burned. And this is the same sort of black debris that we saw where Queen Elizabeth VTOL ship in Denver got attacked. This same black debris here is on the runway here, as is out in Denver, at the Denver airport.
And you can see a lot of these direct liftoffs when you see their pads, like ET pads. We've noticed also a lot of development of ET airports, if you want to say, as well. Different things out. Giza, out here.
Oh, I've got shots of the airport out there next to CERN, where planes are not even both in the same freaking time zone. One's taking off VTOL, and the other one's not even in the same time zone. The shadow goes the opposite freaking direction.
We'll see that, and we'll see multiple colors, like interdimensional, like chakra colors on everything, as it's being shifted on a lot of things. We notice some different things, even in the areas out north of Saskatoon and stuff, different quonsets, different colors.
This one's already off the ground, no run up. There's no runway behind it, okay, to get this thing off the ground. It's already off the ground, but look at which way the shadow's going, and then look at the shadow on this one. And look at the shadows on this one. This plane is in serious time displacement. This one's taking up VTOL, and this one's in time displacement. The shadow is running the wrong direction. This was a parking space for ET craft. This is under construction now. They're building a whole new space terminal for ET craft here right now. You go and look there live. So, yeah, they're going full speed ahead with their plans. They're not slowing down at all. And I've actually got some ET craft I've captured parked there too. What the hell is this?
And we've seen them at CERN. The other thing, Patty, do you want to cover some of the stuff that's now going up? We're seeing another split coming up, a rip in the continent per se out here too. So where we thought there was going to be two, that looks like there's going to be a third one coming up through the Dakotas. So
yeah, well, Guy is changing how she's gonna sort things. Let's see where I put that.
Because a lot of people that thought they were necessarily in safe zones are not in safe zones anymore.
Okay, guys, we've got about 5 minutes on the show.
Okay, thank you, Miles. Does anyone have any questions in the audience for any of us?
You will arrange that. If anybody wants to do that, could they stand at the microphone to the left?
And I know with shortness of time, I'm still available at ClanMother13. I'm also on Facebook and called Karen Mac on Skype. So I'm still seeing people one-to-one for, or even groups for people for health purposes or consults. So, is there any questions for any of us there? I'd love to hear someone from the audience.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And as far as the pole shift, Guy is doing it gently. It is well underway.
Okay, do you want to go ahead?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep.
We can.
Hi. Very interesting everything you talked about, but I've been a little bit freaked out from the very beginning when you said that there's this thing coming straight at us. And what I wanted to know was, can you estimate roughly how long it will be till it reaches us? And that's my question.
Well, we have seen a few things like icy and do change, so just bear that in mind.
Current speed, a couple of weeks if it doesn't change. It's a ship. It's not a big globe or anything like that. The so-called destroyer that everybody keeps talking about that's going to hit the Earth and all this other stuff is garbage.
Red Kachina.
Yeah.
Just finally, the Grid Keeper really would like to say, Patty, that ship that you showed, the vertical stripe, the Grid Keeper here, who is a very close friend of John Leonard Wolfson.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The one near the...
It was near the ISS.
And thanks, it's great to see the audience. Nice to see everyone.
That's just, he may have video of that. If you could get it, he would like to get a screenshot. If you could get that up, Patty, before we close out.
Get a photograph of this? Yeah, I can do that.
Hello. It's the one, it was a NASA picture and it was the actual craft and you zoomed into it.
Oh, that's in orbit right now?
In it. No, it was a black background. It's when you were talking about the ISS. Yeah, the thin vertical one.
This one?
That's it. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that on film.
You want to grab that? Yeah, go ahead.
I took this less than an hour ago. In orbit.
I think that's really important that people get to learn and understand that these are live.
The Grid
When we
Keeper...
put it on Facebook, they're just screened captures.
the Grid Keeper
seen it
said he saw it about 15 years ago.
Well, this is currently in orbit right now.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, anybody, any more members?
Yeah, hi there. Hello.
Yeah.
I just simply want to ask how you might relate earthquake earth movements and the possibility of a man-made, the southern part of California peeling off, if you like, and if that has anything to do with, well, it being man-made or just a natural event, as per maybe an event in the next 3 to 6 months that will take the attention of the entire globe, be so shocking, be televised, this kind of thing. Thank you.
A lot is going to depend on when they run for their dumps.
Can you bring it to lab? Yeah, there we go.
A lot's going to depend on when they run for their dumps. Oops, hang on. That's, sorry. Give me a minute. Let me mute this. That's NASA. This is what Gaia has, in store for them to flood all their dumbs with, including off the East Coast. So bear in mind, a lot is going to depend on when they run for the dumbs.
Mhm.
This is all liquid lava. That's why Obama was setting off a couple of 10 KT nukes here at Yellowstone, the south side of it. He was trying to deliberately get this to let go to let the pressure out of the system so it wouldn't flood the domes.
And there was apparently 6 warheads that went missing. We'll say missiles today.
We caught him with 2.
Got him.
The Army Reserve caught him with 2, transporting them through Ohio. That's why the 4 generals got released that were in charge of the nuclear arsenal. But that's what he was wanting to do with it, release the pressure. The lava under Yellowstone is the kind that goes up explosively. This is the gooey stuff. And this, the Long Valley caldera, already has 2 cones oozing. The lake that was there is gone, and it's got. I actually captured via satellite the lake evaporating off when it poked through, and there's currently got 2 cones sticking above ground, oozing lava.
Patty, do you have a picture of that warp drive? You know, the green one with the grid around? I think it's really important people realize that, what the radiation is actually doing, that most people, like even in Saskatoon, if they're inside those circle drives or whatever, they're being surrounded constantly 24/7. And on top of it with the smart meters. So if we have an EMP, like a Carrington event, people need to be prepared for some of this, because this is where we're more concerned about the radiation and having an EMP.
Well, if we have an EMP, it's not coming from the sun. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It'll be man-made. What I don't know what you were what you were talking about, Karen. Warp drive or on what?
There was a great picture. It was a green one with a green grid. Almost used it for your warp drive thing, but I like to use it for the magnetic picture to give people, or the one that we use with the Pandora's box, where you can actually see the colors as you're being hit with this wireless. Okay.
This is Long Valley Caldera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is what's going on there right now. So, Gaia's got the trigger ready on them. If they run for the dumps. We kind of want them to run to the dumps because it'll make it a whole lot easier to take them all out. Where is it?
Now, could you give any insights as to how people can get your previous bits of information, project, Incension, things like that?
Yeah, Project Incension on YouTube, or go Pattie Brassard at Facebook.
And my new one is Karen Macdonald. I've got so many, they're just swamped now. But Karen Lucyk, Lucyk, Lucy with a K. And then called Karen Mac here on Skype will do as well. The other thing for people is that I do have stuff also at the Leak Project and Fade to Black. But the most concurrent one that we're really putting a lot more into is at Project Incension, not ascending, inner,
yes,
INCENSION with Andrew Mellett.
And
getting people as much raw food as they can right now. Get nutrient-dense food.
Well, we've got a lot of target individuals about to come and do their session for this evening. What would you give advice to a target, to a TI? You mentioned something about foods and detecting the stuff that's inside them and how to solve that.
Yeah, actually I did. I have a little detector, actually. It's almost better than the stud finder I used to use years ago. But it's called a Rejuvena 7000 you can get at Biomac Canada. And I can actually go over and actually detect it in the meridians. We'll hear if we hit metal underneath. So not only do you get to look better and more youthful, but you put monatomic ormus on. So I've been using that on myself. If it was the Urutu venom that I picked up with all the snake venoms, essential oils. Gary Young was right. Way back to the scripture. So frankincense, myrrh, cedarwood, getting those oils into you to raise your vibration. Spruce tree. Really, if we look like the trees in the planet, we don't look like draconian or raptor, food either. Raw chocolate has been actually really helpful for people for pain control and getting them alkalized. And I cannot stress enough to get colon hydrotherapy. It's like having a whole new life. Any kind of people that have been raped, sodomized, the child pedophile rings, is that semen is deposited no different than a vaccine. They're both weapons of mass destruction. They are injecting, whether through ejaculation or vaccination, you're putting in foreign materials, viruses, bacteria, and alien type of material. So the enemas and the colonics, do not rule them out. I've been putting apple cider vinegar in with lots of essential oils and zeolite or bentonite to pull out anything metallic. And we are having great success.
Also, of course, it was on a brilliant basis. Did a lot of bases with me. Very late in the evening. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's give the Americans thank you and good night.
Yeah, Bases 47 and 50.